China gets a CBDC. The United States gets a CBDC. The Euro gets a CBDC. Everybody gets a CBDC. And now that includes the UK, as the Deputy Governor of the Bank of England said that the UK may need a digital pound in light of FTX's collapse. You know, they say never let a good crisis go to waste. And in light of the fact that FTX's collapse will really only hurt, number one, the investors, obviously, and then number two, the companies that were doing the fraud themselves. Instead, the governments around the world are looking to jump on this at the chance to pass new laws, new regulations, establish new oversight committees and government agencies in order to take advantage of this collapse. And the number one way that they can do that is through a central bank digital currency. Within just the last few weeks, we are seeing news like this come out everywhere. I don't think it is pre-planned, but I think the governments around the world, central banks, are really taking advantage of what's going on right now. Like I've said for a while now, cryptocurrencies and stable coins and the subsequent collapse will be used as a Trojan horse while the people are just begging for governments to step in and save them. They'll use it as a Trojan horse to introduce a CBDC. Just a few weeks ago, we talked about how the euro was talking about a digital euro. And then within just a week of that, we saw the Federal Reserve announce a pilot program to test, a 12-week test for a new digital dollar. And now we are seeing the UK come out and say we might need a digital pound. John Cunliffe, the Deputy Governor at the Bank of England, said that they might need a digital British pound in light of the FTX collapse. Now, this is important to note here because he said he initially thought there was no connection between what's going on with FTX and CBDCs. But on Monday, he said that he understands the concerns. Now, let me be very clear here. The only asset that central banks actually have is a monopoly on money. It is the very fact that everybody has to use the money that the central bank creates that gives central banks all of their authority and all of their power. So if something comes in and threatens to take that away, they will do whatever they can to stop that from happening. So if individuals are looking to move to their own forms of money, and I would advocate things like Bitcoin and gold, but a lot of people get fleeced and have gone into investing in a lot of these scams, a lot of these frauds, a lot of cryptocurrencies that are going to absolutely zero. They are going to take notice of that and say, hey, if everybody wants this new form of technological money, we will create our own and we will get our buddies over in the government, the central government, to make new laws that say we still have a monopoly on money, but now it includes the digital form of the money as well. All about control and power when it comes to money. And I know a lot of you are going to hate that I use money there, so just for those of you who care about semantics, it's really currency. On Monday, Cunliffe said that crypto needs to be regulated in the UK in order to protect consumers and investors. Now, first of all, this is completely false. All you have to do is enforce the things that are already crimes, and you've solved your problem. Fraud is a crime. Theft is a crime. Embezzlement is a crime. So crypto as its own space doesn't need any additional or unique legislation or regulation, just as any other area of life doesn't need its own unique area of oversight or regulation. All you have to do is enforce the things that are already enforceable, that are already crimes. However, there is legislation that is now being considered in Parliament that would give the Bank of England the power to regulate firms that issue stablecoins. Like I said earlier, it is all about the control of the money. And here's why. Money makes up 50% of everything that everybody does. And what I mean by that is it's the other half of the transaction. And so back 100 years ago, when the communists wanted to control the flow of resources in the economy, it was pretty difficult to do that. You had to control the flow of resources. But instead, if you can fully control the money, well, that's 50%. That's the other side of the transaction. So if you can control the money, you can control the flow of resources, literally everything that happens in an economy by just controlling the money side. And key here is that the digitally native pound, the Bank of England's CBDC, would include reducing the role of cash. Why would they want to reduce the role of cash? Because people can use cash for whatever they want. There's more crimes committed with physical cash than any other form of money because it's untraceable. They can't tax those transactions. They can't watch those transactions. They can't see them. They can't stop them. They can't reverse them. They can't put a freeze on those assets. So guess how much control they have over physical cash? Zero. Like I said, it's all about control. And if you think it's perfectly fine for the government to watch everything you do because you're not doing anything illegal, what do you think will happen if they decide they want to make something you are doing illegal? The amount of something you want to buy illegal. The type of something that you want to buy illegal. And what happens if the power to stop those transactions comes from a group of people who are unelected, no skin in the game, and no accountability to the people? I'm sure everything will be just fine. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.